we all talk about AGI. If that happens, then we're in a big Terminator. Data is a new oil. In China, they're having robotic Olympics.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Robot UFC.
It's always the scary parts.
Right.
It's like, oh, this will take over the world. At the same time, you can use it for good. The natural disasters.
Right.
If there was a better way to not only simulate and understand that, hey, this is going to hit this part specifically, and here's the potential aftermath, you can not only make decisions faster, but at the same time, when it actually comes and it actually generates the data to match it to the simulation, and then it'll know exactly who to call and spatially which department or which fire department or a fire station is easier to access. That's how you save lives. Even right now, AI is the worst it will ever get. And every single day, as it's training more and more, it's becoming better. How do we adapt as humans?
What's up, upgraders? Happy holidays. Can't believe how fast this year has flown by. It's been great to do it together with you. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by how fast technology is changing, you're like me and you're not alone. Today, AI is moving at ludicrous speed, and there's absolutely no putting it back in the box. With it comes superpowers, new dangers, and opportunities that you've never imagined. That's why I wanted to bring on one of the brightest minds reinventing digital reality, Eric Liu, the tech Wizkid and creator of interactive digital twins at TwinMatrix. Eric isn't just building the future, he's living it. He's pitching his vision door to door, he's facing the wild world of robot battles in China, and tackling the big questions on how AI will change every part of our industries and our lives. In this episode of Upgrade Me, we'll break down the buzzwords, highlight the risks, and discover frameworks that will help you upgrade and stay motivated at every stage of your journey. Buckle up. This isn't just another tech talk, it's a roadmap for how you can adapt, thrive, and even, God forbid, have some damn fun in this AI-powered world. Here's Eric Liu, digital twin, tech AI Wizkid on Upgrade Me. Aside from sharing, liking, subscribing, as you wonderful folks have been great at doing, please drop a comment or question to let us know that you were here. That is super helpful. Let us know who you'd like to see in our next season of Upgrade Me as we go into season 3. We've been bringing you motivational world leaders of industry for 2 whole years, absolutely free. And I thank you for coming along for the journey, and I look forward to many more with your help. Keep on upgrading.
All right, Eric Liu, thank you so much for being here this morning with me on Upgrade Me. I've been super excited to sit down with you for a conversation. I think the world's going through some really crazy changes and a lot of turbulence, but there's a lot of exciting things happening as well. Yeah. So we wanted to talk to the Wizkid of tech firsthand. And so my first question is, when did you realize that you are a baby trapped in a man's body?
That's funny you say that. I was working in the video game space, and video games always thought that, you know what, yeah, it's for kids. Even my parents were like, hey, stop playing video games. But you know, it actually has defined my career, because now, look at it, a lot of things are based off video games.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, we play to win.
That's right.
Absolutely. You also had brought your setup here, your laptop, and I think you wanted to show me
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I think when I think about your music, Dana, I think it's about filling spaces with sound.
Yeah.
And not just sound, but also the experience.
Sure.
And recently, last couple of years, there's been these newer technologies where we were talking about how do we capture the space?
Right.
What if there's a way to capture your entire experience, right, of your performance?
Yeah.
And then you can basically walk through that and go from any corner. You can actually peer around. You can actually look at your instrument, the way that you're moving your hands and everything. Sure. And we're getting there. And I'll show you something that I brought. This technology is called a Gaussian splat. So you could see here how it was just using a video to capture this live stage.
Okay.
And now you can just look at it as if you're there, like a video game. Again, going back to video games.
Yeah.
Right. You can walk up all the way to every instrument and the conductor. And this is right now a static image. Once the technology improves a little bit, and I'm pretty sure it will in the next year or two, it'll be able to do this live.
So would it be off base to say that this is essentially the ability to stream a 3D camera?
I would say that, but it's not just a 3D camera, because My problem with the Apple Vision Pro is that it was pre-recorded.
Yeah.
But what if I want to actually sit over here,
Right.
right?
Then you need multiple angles.
So this is more of a, I would say, volumetric capture of the entire performance, of your performance. And I think that would be magical. Because then I can even look at it in my Apple Vision Pros or the next generation and relive the experience no matter where, right?
Wow.
And that would be amazing. Then I can pick, you know what, maybe I want to sit over here, it sounds better. It's a better experience for me.
Yeah.
And that is a choice. It's like, plan your own venture, those books where it's like, oh, you're reading, oh, now go to page 59, whatever. Now I can re-experience it. And what I think is that as people start capturing these things, they can also use blockchain or NFT it. They can sell that experience to others.
Okay, sure.
So instead of YouTube, you're seeing shaky cam of people recording you live, right? It's not the best experience, and of course the sound's not that great.
Sure.
But this might be the next wave.
Wow. And so it would start out with recordings. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then give people the opportunity to replay it from almost any perspective that they want.
From any perspective, and also you can also jump in there.
Right.
And this is the spatial computing technologies like the Vision Pro and what Meta's doing.
Right.
Is that if I can just get absorbed in your music and experience it, just like last year, right, in Kuching and Sarawak, it was magnificent, but I wish I had sat closer.
Yeah.
But if it was recorded volumetrically, I could.
Right.
Or I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
And I would pay for that experience.
All right, how much?
Let's negotiate.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I think what I'd like to also see next with the ability of AI to generate image and video on the spot is being able, and like you said, with like digital avatars in this whole space is being able to also create reactionary, like real-time environments, right, where people are able to not only just get on the stage, but maybe they'll get kicked off the stage in real time.
I mean, that's essentially, it's going back to the holodeck.
Right, yes.
Where essentially you can be in anything you imagine.
Real-time reactions,
And with AI generation these days, so video game industry is going to be completely changed. Because now you can use AI to just generate the worlds, and as you're interacting with that world, let's say you're playing that game, right? The people, the NPCs, right? Non-player characters that you're talking to are completely has an entire history of everything.
Right.
And then you explore and it'll keep generating based off of how you actually define your own adventure.
Yeah.
And it's sort of scary at the same time, right? Because then you think, oh, I'm just gonna sit there in VR and basically become like a vegetable or whatever.
Right.
But at the same time, it's getting there. It's a little scary. Yeah. And I'm afraid for our next generation of them getting too addicted to this stuff. Because what people are saying is that right now, you go on YouTube, 99.9% is user generated.
Right.
But in the next few years, all of a sudden it'll be all AI generated.
Machine generated.
And what's crazy is that it's not going to be YouTube, it'll be your tube. Where essentially, let's say tonight you feel like, oh, I want to be on a dragon, right? I want to relive Game of Thrones season 8 because it was terrible. And I would define a better version of that.
Right.
You can, and you can experience it. So whatever you want to experience, it was just generated for you, and it's interactive.
Right.
That's where we're headed.
So long as they can clear my browser history. With complete and full confidence.
Yeah, there you go. Another business idea.
There we go. Yeah. Clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
Brought to you by Crypto Clean Sweep.
Right.
So now you're running in future tech circles. You're creating digital twins, and like I said, we're in the midst of an AI tidal wave. You have pioneered spatial digital twins and immersive tech years ahead of the current boom. In simple terms, what is a digital twin?
So digital twin is a digital replica of the physical world. And usually a true digital twin would actually include all of the live data that's being generated with the physical world into the digital realm.
Right.
So that's in a nutshell what it is. It's like a copy of the real physical world, but with all the data streams going through it.
Wow. Like if you were to explain that to an 8-year-old, what do you think you would say?
I would say, hey, you want to play a video game of some place that you've been? Or right now, you can do that. You can enter that space halfway around the world.
Awesome. In fact, I think that was an 8-year-old in the background just now.
It's like, yes, I want to dive straight in.
He's ready. Yeah. So with the current rise of spatial AI, how do you see digital and physical worlds converging in ways that most people aren't yet aware of?
Yeah, I mean, spatial AI, it's really powerful because when we talk about spatial technologies, right, you hear Apple talking about spatial computing. That's the next generation, right? The next evolution of the phone.
Right.
So essentially right now you're accessing the entire internet in the palm of your hands or on your laptop, but the next wave is actually here so that it can envelop your entire senses. And I think that's really the spatial AI future. Just like recently, even Meta, right, Facebook, ex-Facebook, they announced that the new Meta Ray-Ban display, which basically looks really nice and it has an invisible screen only you can see and access. So I think this is really the next generation of how to access information for anywhere you are.
Yeah, actually, that's originally what connected you and I. Is that I think you were one of the first people on this side of the planet to have an Apple Vision Pro.
That's right.
And then we ended up talking, and you're like, "I have this. I'm like a self-professed like super tech like nerd and a gearhead." And so I said, "Oh, you have this." And we actually met by the swimming pool.
Yes.
And you showed me some of the early applications and where music applications could develop or where just like general utilities of computing. That right there, kind of put me on to, it woke me up to realize that you are somebody that's always, you're our people. You're always up on the forefront. You're willing to test things. You're willing to, go out there outside of your comfort zone and try, wild new ideas, right? Which I love. And that's why we're here today, right? So, but while we're out here kind of foraging and seeing all these new tech emergences, I feel like there's a fair amount of people who may feel inundated, right? There's just every day something new is coming out. They don't know what the mainstays are. They don't even know the basics, right? So if we're looking at, talking to our audience members out there who many may feel overwhelmed or left behind by the current AI tidal wave or tech tidal waves, what should the average small person, small business, or student do now to future-proof themselves?
Yeah. I mean, I see AI as a tool where it can actually empower you, right? Almost give you a superpower, because I'm really into Marvel and into superheroes. It's sort of like Jarvis, right? Where you can ask it anything.
100%.
But at the same time, I think moving forward is that we as human beings, right? If we can access information about not just your space, but also the world knowledge in the palm of your hand or literally on your face, that's going to empower you to do more. The thing is, every single day there's something new in AI. It has completely accelerated to the point of no return, essentially. And it is scary. I agree. It is scary. Every single day there's something new. For example, recently, a couple months ago, actually, the OpenAI came out with Sora 2, and it's changed the world. Because essentially now you have, you can just scan your face and you can just tell it to create any videos, whatever you want to do. And you can actually tag your other buddies or even a celebrity or a public figure and say, hey, we're swimming in the swimming pool. Hey, we're cooking a barbecue.
Wow.
It's incredible. And it's indistinguishable almost from reality.
Right.
To sort of go back to the point of saying, well, we need to actually stick with the times because the times are advancing, accelerating to no end. So I think just to get started, don't be overwhelmed, I would say to everybody, is that just use a chatbot on a day-to-day basis, see what it can empower you with. Don't be afraid of it. Because at the end of the day, like for example, I'm even using it every single time I want to cook something. Right? Oh, what's the recipe for this? How do you air fry that? Right?
Right.
So just use it as a tool to help you in your daily lives.
Right, absolutely. You mentioned there's a lot to be excited about, but some things to be a little bit careful as well, a little bit even borderline fearful, right?
Yeah.
When we're heading in a world where perhaps there's a lot of things that may become indistinguishably recognizable between real and fantasy, how do we remain grounded?
So I think, as I dive more and more into technology, even my entire career, I've always been so infatuated with tech, is that the more I dive into it, the more I want to get away from it and get back to humans. One-to-one human connection is unlike anything else. right? Just hanging out with their friends or just having a drink. I think that's beautiful. And I think that's something where that grounds me, right? Because I remember when I got so into, technology, doing things, when you just gotta stop and smell the roses sometimes and say, hey, call up a friend. Let's get a beer or something. And that really makes me grounded so that I don't feel like I'm so overwhelmed with everything that's happening.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when you were mentioning that you could, tag anybody and, you could create any virtual scenario that looks, photorealistic, I just thought about, like hanging out with the North Koreans, right? Or like, all different things that could just, happen that are not necessarily recognizable to so many people.
It's true.
We're headed into some very misty times here.
It's crazy times. I mean, at the end of it, and also I think, at the end of the day, governments need to sort of figure out what the next steps are because it's moving too fast for bureaucracy.
Sure.
So I think it's a step-by-step. Right now, I think a lot of these AI companies are testing the waters. They're systematically releasing things to sort of test the waters.
Right.
Because for sure that probably in their labs, they have some crazy AI that they're also should be afraid to release. Right? Because we all talk about, what's AGI, ASI, which is artificial general intelligence.
Right.
If that happens, then oh man, we're in a big Terminator.
They're freaking COVID AI sitting in the laboratory.
Right, and
wow.
And now, I mean, it's crazy because you see humanoid robots, which is the physical embodiment of AI.
Yes.
And if they can actually do anything that we can do, I mean, I saw that in China, they're having robotic Olympics.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Robot UFC.
Yeah, UFC as well. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I'll pay to watch that.
Yeah, exactly.
But just gotta, stop and smell the roses, like I said. So step by step.
Absolutely. I mean, when you talk about government control, you're giving them maybe more credit than they necessarily deserve, right? Like sometimes, the government can't even figure out how to move on from snail mail and
that's true.
And lines at the DMV.
That's true.
So who knows? Exactly what they're capable in different regions. I'd like to think that at this point, Silicon Valley's got a huge head start, and China's definitely not far behind, and they have a lot of firepower, right? A lot of smart minds. So this race is just getting started.
It's just getting started. Yeah, you're completely right, and it's exciting to watch, but at the same time, for people who aren't sort of seeing it happen in real time, it's scary.
Absolutely.
Because they always look in the news, and it's always to get headlines and clicks. It's always the scary parts.
Right.
It's like, this will take over the world, blah, blah, blah type of thing, and in a negative way, but that's why, but at the same time, you can use it for good.
Right.
So
when you talk about a myth or about the metaverse or digital twins, what's something you'd love to bust for mainstream listeners?
I would say people think of digital twins is that, I would say it's not just a capture. Right. Everybody doing digital twins, I mean, I can just take a photo right now of this space, and some people and some companies call it a digital twin.
Oh,
that's
okay.
not.
Yeah.
But it's not, because at the end of the day, a true digital twin, like I mentioned earlier, is about the real-time data streams. So for example, in this room right now, there's all these digital objects, there's air conditioning, there's all this, we call it IoT, Internet of Things.
Sure.
So every single sensor is just sending out data.
Right.
But the thing is, if you just capture a photo or a scan of this place, it's just we call it static information.
Sure.
Right? It's just a capture in time.
Right.
But then, if you could actually empower it with live data, that changes everything.
Okay. So then, how about a video then?
Yeah. Because a video is a capture in time.
Yeah.
Right? So a video is essentially the 4D element, we call it.
Sure.
Right, of time. So a video is great, but at the same time, what about if you can actually experience something live? So let's say you're performing in Sydney, and all of a sudden I want to enter that experience, walk around it, and also volumetrically go behind, just feel like I'm there.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah. And these are the spatial technologies I'm really, really interested in, because it gives us as human beings new experiences.
Sure.
Versus what we're used to, right? You go on YouTube, you look at your performances, you look at artist performances, and the people who capture videos is shaky cam.
Right.
I don't want that experience. I want the real thing.
Right.
So these are the technologies that will enable it.
How it looks and feels with your own two eyes.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. In a way, you're providing the digital crasher experience.
Exactly.
The ultimate backstage pass.
Exactly.
On stage, off stage, behind stage.
I mean, and that's what I think people will want to experience, right? For example, I recently tried the new Apple Vision Pro with the Metallica concert, where you can basically feel like you're on stage with them.
Wow.
And that was an incredible moment because it's all stereoscopic. You feel like you're there.
Yeah.
Right? And especially when they're singing and then they're sweating, you see the sweat come onto your face essentially. You're like,
Right.
wow, this is the best experience I've ever had.
Wow. You feel the Rogaine like burning your eyes.
Exactly. I feel the smoke coming into my eyes.
Awesome. Yeah. That's pretty amazing. So when I first met you, you were kind of going in head first into a huge project with the Singapore Changi Airport.
Yes.
Right. And what is the first problem that they actually want solved using your tech?
So our tech is actually, we are the single or center source of truth for the entire airport when it comes to spatial technology. So that means mapping, right? 2D mapping. You go to the airport, you open up ChangiAirport.com, Changi app, all the maps, anything that defines the space is on our platform. So their initial pain point was saying, hey, how come there's all these departments and they all have their own map, but it's not updated? And that's what I was saying earlier, is that if you take a snapshot of something and it's not updated for operational efficiency, then essentially it's just a saved file somewhere in time.
Right.
But now we actually have a single source of truth that scales to 40 plus departments. And just like any department, they should be updating their own data. And when they update it, everybody else benefits.
Wow. What's been the most jaw-dropping result you've seen so far?
Wow, I would say that we're moving into not only 2D mapping, but the requirements of 3D volumetric mapping.
Right.
And I think that's really exciting because at the end of the day, we as human beings, we experience the world in 3D. Right? I think 2D is great, right? We're all used to Google Maps, Apple Maps, and all of that.
Yeah.
But what if, for example, if you just look like a 2D map and you get from your gate to, let's say, Hard Rock Cafe or something, what if you can actually experience that, right, before you actually do it? It's like
I can get a TSA pat down before I go to the airport.
Hey, man, whatever floats your boat.
I can see how big the Big Macs are.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah.
But it's about these experiences.
Sure.
And I think that's really the next step forward for this type of technology.
Exactly how much can you see and how often is it updated? Do you think that there are risks or ethical dilemmas in spatial AI, digital twins that we as a society haven't considered enough yet?
Yeah, so I would say that it's as real time as the IoT, the sensors that actually transmits back. So for example, right now we have not only the terminals, but also the air side. So that means all the vehicles and aircraft's data can be actually combined together to get spatial intelligence. So that means the number one KPI, number one key thing for an airport is to prevent collisions.
Okay.
Right, and especially on the air side. So that's something that I think could be extremely powerful. Because if we know that, hey, in this data silo, there's planes and we know exact positions and where they're headed and their speed. And then you have on the other data silo, all of the vehicles, 4,500 vehicles on the air side that basically, you have human drivers, they're looking around, they're only, they can only see what they see.
Right.
And if we combine that and actually allow the AI drivenness to know if they're going to come into contact, that will save a lot of things, not just lives, but also just a lot of money for delays and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's really the power of the next real-time digital twins.
Yeah. Does that carry over into arriving and departure traffic on vehicles around the airport as well?
Yes. Okay. Well, that's the thing, is that right now I'm sure there's 30 million people going through the airport, and there's all of these vehicles, there's the trolleys, everything is data.
Right.
Everything's data, and if you can actually make sense of it all and have a digital reflection or a digital mirror of that real world, you can actually understand so much about that. and you can actually optimize it and improve efficiency and safety.
And at the moment, what do the people look like, and how are they managing their presence on the platform?
So that's a great question, because another key thing is to understand the traffic patterns, right? The heat maps. Where do people actually spend their time inside of the physical world, inside of the spaces?
Yeah.
So for example, if there's a way to actually know where people are flowing to, right? Are they going to Starbucks? Are they going to F&B or something like that? And optimize the space and also incentivize them to maybe go into Crocs or go into another store. That's really the power of this data, is that if you can analyze it, optimize it, and improve passenger experiences, then that's a whole new level.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a huge upside for business owners and the airport in general, to know kind of the general flow and the efficiency of things, and what when and why people do what they do.
Right.
A little bit of the influence of it. Yeah. Absolutely.
It all goes back to the data, right?
Yeah.
That data exists somewhere, whether it's a CCTV where they're using it for safety security, but you can also use it to understand the traffic patterns and where people are flowing to.
Sure. Yeah. When we were just getting prepped up here, you were talking a little bit about the challenges of being a business owner in today's technological revolution. We had a follower who's familiar with you from years back, who chimed in, who also works in the game industry and the animation industry.
Oh.
And he had a pretty tough question that he popped in before, as we were just getting started here. And he said, you've built and sold multiple startups. You've worked with NVIDIA. You've reshaped industries across Asia. In your opinion, why did Hellgate in London severely underperform when the pre-sales pocketed flagship studios millions of dollars, but then ultimately led to a collapse not even a year after its release? And how did you bounce back?
That's such a good question. Wow. So first of all, just to preface it for your audience, is that so I work with the creators of Diablo, and Diablo is a massive. I actually defined the action RPG genre in the video game space.
Right.
And then, of course, they broke off. Blizzard North created this company called Flagship Studios.
Right.
That's when I joined them, and basically my job and role was to produce the game for the international audience, which is essentially Asia. But because if you can think about it, right, back then, StarCraft in South Korea, massive.
Yep.
Right. I mean, it defined esports. It started esports.
Totally.
So what happened was that with Flagship Studios in Hellgate, London, people expected it to be the next Diablo. And for better or worse, it was very good for what it was at the time. And of course, there was massive pre-sales, right? And a lot of people bought the lifetime subscription, right? Lifetime. It's funny because last night I was having drinks with these EMBA students. Right. And they actually knew about how he's like, oh, I love that game. I spent $150 and then after a year it just shut down. What happened? Exact question. It's like, wow. Yeah. So the reason why is that after you release the game, right? When your expectations of the amount of content that people can go through, because it was supposed to be continuously updated. Let's just say that, especially in Asia and especially in South Korea, the amount of content that was expected for the last 3 months lasted only a week.
Oh, you got some mega fiends. Okay. Yeah.
People were not sleeping, and it was a little scary, to be honest. But then we just saw the numbers, and people were just getting through the content like crazy. Wow. So we couldn't actually produce the next version fast enough.
Sure. Okay.
So that's what happened, is that all of a sudden, right, at first, so many people got in, lots of bugs, first time launch. And then it sort of dropped. So that's essentially what happened.
Yeah, some esports tiger moms pushing those kids through all the levels in a month.
Exactly.
That is insane.
Did not expect that.
As somebody that's bridging the East and the West between China, Singapore, and Silicon Valley, how are innovation styles and business mindsets different nowadays?
Business mindset, it's basically, because I spent 8 years in Shanghai building businesses over there, and the business mindset and competitiveness in China is unfathomable.
I can agree to that.
Everybody's out to win, right? And that type of
They're not
entrepreneurial
only out to
spirit.
win, they're out to make you lose.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
It's not enough to win. My enemy and my competitor have to go down in glory, the flames of glory.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then I truly win.
Yes. Yeah, bringing back some bad memories. But I need a drink after this. But it's so different, right? And another reason why you see the whole AI, right? AI, I would say war or competition, whatever you want to call it, between the U.S. and China. In China, they're so resourceful as well.
Yeah.
And that's why you have these deep seek moments where essentially it's like, it's an open source and boom, right? The whole world is shocked.
It's all been sourced.
Right? It's like they don't even have the hardware that's allowed to be shipped from the US to there, but they were able to be scrappy and come up with something that was almost as good as what OpenAI had.
Right.
So it's incredible. And in the US, I think it's really a wake-up call, right? To say, hey, you know what? Data is a new oil. AI is here. It's not going to stop, because even right now, AI is the worst it will ever get. And every single day, as it's training more and more, it's becoming smarter and to help us do our jobs better. Right. And of course, AI will replace jobs. It has replaced artist jobs and all sorts of other, modeler jobs and all of that. But the thing is, what's next? How do we adapt as humans? How do we work together with AI to improve the world?
Yeah. Speaking of improving the world, it's a much more philosophical, larger question. But do you feel that something like universal basic income could be beneficial?
Absolutely. I think so.
Wow.
I think so. Because at the end of the day, if the news is correct, right, and the AI philosophers are correct, and more than 50% of jobs will be lost due to AI and robotics, people need to do something. Right. And they need to get paid. So UBI will be actually very beneficial, I think, because at least they're going to have, let's say, $1,000 or $2,000 a month, so that they can actually go out and buy bread for their families. They can eat, right? The basic necessities. And of course, there's always the other side. If you get UBI, then you just become lazy and don't do anything and don't contribute back to society.
Sure.
But if you think about it right now at this inflection point, physical AI, which is robotics, it's here. It's starting to basically, it doesn't sleep, first of all. All it needs is electricity, and it can perform work in factories and eventually in our homes to help us cook, to help us fold our laundry, to do these things where usually we don't prefer to do ourselves, right? So if there's UBI, and of course you have the abundance that the robots are actually producing, then I think that's actually can be a balance where jobs and cars and manufacturing is still going on, but at the same time you still get paid by the government, and eventually there needs to be a balance, right? And this is where the governments need to figure it out as well. What is the balance between how much you pay, right? Everybody, or not?
Right. I speak a lot with a buddy of mine, Alvin Grayland. I'm not sure if you know Alvin. Who's instrumental in kind of scaling the VR, right? And the HTC Vive.
Yes.
And first, I've always been surprised, and actually you surprised me as well, because for people who are highly educated and high performing, and they know what it took to get to where they are, it's very interesting for me to see a belief in this kind of altruistic philosophy that if you just give people money, that they will somehow decide to do what's right for the world as a result, right? One example, in the United States is, if you have like welfare that haven't necessarily always yielded people's chasing their dreams, right? We're not getting more astronauts and ballerinas and people becoming artists and musicians as a result of that. That's why you and Alvin kind of surprised me on that, because you guys have made it to where you are because you work hard, you understand the value of education, you understand the value of sweat equity and climbing every step of the way, right? But I don't know if that can be preserved into the future generations if we just create these larger scale handouts.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, there's always, it's a double-edged sword at the end of the day.
Right.
And I think it really depends on what type of, not only incentives can governments give,
Right.
But also, how do they make people want to do more? Right? Because sure, if you get 1,000 or 5,000 a month for free from the government, yeah, you can just drink it away. Right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly all
Crypto
this
casino.
Exactly.
Brought to you by.
But the thing is, there needs to be something else there. And I don't know exactly what it is yet, but how do you actually incentivize people to do more for society, right? Contribute back versus just consuming and not giving back, right? These are the questions that I think, we have to answer as just a society in general.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it can go horribly wrong as well, or it can get horribly right. Because then all the GDP, horribly, that's not the right word. It'll be great, because if the GDP continues to grow for every country because of abundance, right? Because of overproduction or production that's consistent, but then you actually have less workforce in terms of human labor, then what else can they do, right? Can governments incentivize and say, hey, maybe every single day, right, here's these, maybe you can go and paint something, maybe you can produce music, right? And I think when I think about it, right, people ask me, oh, what kind of jobs are going to be still there when robots and AI take over and sort of manage all of us and whatnot? Well, you know what? Like I said earlier, people still want to be with people, right? Caretakers want to hang out, want to have a good time and be happy.
Sure.
So I think there's still a lot of things to be there for, to support society, right? Whether it's old people or other things. So I think that it just needs to shift towards how do we better society in a different way.
Those are huge questions, and of course, I don't expect you to have all the answers, right? But it's something that we all collectively have to keep reminding ourselves. I something you kind of like sparked an idea in my mind, like rather than giving people money, what if? And I don't, I could die on my shield for this one as well. But what if they were able to make things more affordable? I might be shooting myself in the foot because, coming from this side of capitalism and entrepreneurship, if we make things cheaper, somebody else is probably going to figure out a way to to commoditize and make a business out of it as well. Right?
True.
Yeah. There's always a lot of different sides to every situation. Right?
And things will get increasingly more cheaper because the workforce, which will become robots, they can operate 24/7.
Sure.
And basically you just produce and produce and produce. And that's the overabundance or abundance model that's coming.
Sure.
So then, of course, when things are cheap, production's good, everybody's happy, right? It'll actually, who knows, solve world hunger, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good things I think abundance can bring.
Sure.
But it also makes people lazier.
Yeah.
So this is the balance we all have to figure out as we move into the next 10 years.
Right. And what qualifications, as you mentioned, can we give to people to inspire them to want to contribute more, right? Yeah.
And actually, I think art and culture is really important because no, I'm serious. Like, this is what I'm telling my kids now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I was just telling you, chatting this morning, they're in a K-pop dance class. Yeah, because the thing is...
Taught by robots.
Because... soon, not yet. But it's true because if all of a sudden, right, you don't need coders anymore.
Right.
Or you just don't need a vast number of programmers because AI can just generate the code and generate applications and whatnot. Then what else are you gonna do, right? Engineering is gonna be, dissipating.
Right.
So then it's all about art, literature,
Wow.
and basically this liberal arts is the key to go, I think.
Wow.
I'm trying to get my kids to actually read more, to understand more about that, right? Yes. Because we do have to carry forward the culture, whether it's in China, in the US, or in Singapore, or wherever. That's key. And this is what people want to see.
Right.
Moving forward.
Yeah. People who are enriched in mind and body.
Yes.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's funny. You're one line ahead of me because when I look at your public speaker bio, you talk about how you are a father of two, but also a tech CEO. With all the hype about work-life balance, What kind of habits or boundaries are you looking to framework in your own life to kind of reel things in and kind of help keep yourself sane?
As parents, we always think about screen time, like how much screen time, iPad time is too much or too little. Yeah. Because why I say too little is that if these are apps that actually has AI tutoring, one-to-one tutoring for your kids, which essentially, it's funny because there was a study in Houston, I believe, with a high school, and they basically had more screen time to have one-on-one with the AI every single day, I think 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
And guess what?
Yeah.
They placed in the 99th percentile in all of America.
Okay.
Because they had that personal one-on-one training.
And this was where?
This is in Texas.
In Texas.
So if you have basically, I mean, at the end of the day, I remember growing up and being in grade school, right? I would just be goofing off. I'm not listening to the teacher. The teacher is trying to teach 30 kids.
Right.
How are you going to know where each kid's level is and how fast or slow they adapt?
Yeah, even if they're watching with a mouth closed, you don't really know what's being retained.
Exactly. And if you have an AI tutor or an AI teacher that literally knows everything about your learnings, right, and your level, and it can dynamically adapt to your speed, that actually you can learn a lot faster. So again, going back to the kids, it's screen time. We're constantly trying to figure that out. I mean, there's no perfect solution yet. Yeah. And also, should we allow them social media? Oh, they want to go on Roblox with their friends. I'm like, and you saw the news recently about predators on Roblox and all sorts of negativity. But it's hard, right? It's we're all trying to figure it out. Right? It's not a formula where I say, okay, I just do this step-by-step process and everybody will be fine. Everyone's different. Right. And this is the beauty of being alive, I guess.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I thought you were starting to touch on is actually technical proficiency as well, right? Too little screen time. And, you know, I remember, this is an old joke, but one of my best friends had an iPad, one of the first ones, and it was the only iPad for his whole family. He has 3 daughters, his wife, and him. He has 5 people in his house. He called me, he's like, I'm on a business trip. And I brought the iPad with me so that XYZ, I was like, wait, that's your daughter's iPad, right? You told me you bought that for your daughter, right? And he's like, I did, but I needed it for this trip, so I brought it. And I was like, so you telling me your daughter's at home trying to swipe the encyclopedia? Like, because she was like, 2 years old. Right. Like, she might be. Right. She might be. Right. So yeah, just having that level of kind of technical basic proficiency is also important in terms of the minimum level of screen time that you talk about.
Yeah, and it's screen time, and also how do you talk to AI, right? Because these days it's all these oral chatbots. Right. So it's really how do you interact with AI is really critical. Right now we're learning how to prompt and all of that. Yeah. But to be honest, moving forward, I mean, it's going to be all natural language anyway. So I think it's really going back to we as human beings, how do we interact with each other? Right. How do we improve that flow? So I think, again, a lot of changes, but at the end of the day, it goes back to human conversations like we're having. Sure. And how do we wield the AI tools to perform better?
Right. And so for those of you that are just tuning in, we're hanging with Eric Liu, the CEO and founder of TwinMatrix, who is creating digital twins and kind of recreations in the digital space of physical spaces around the world, like Singapore's airport. It's super fascinating, very far in the forefront of technology and adapting things early. He's an early adopter, he's an early mover. What I'm curious about for listeners who are just starting out or feeling unsure about where we're going with technology, as you mentioned, there's some books, but what is your cheat sheet for jumping into AI, smart city, metaverse, all this, all these kind of buzzwords that are taking over our headlines? What kind of books, skills, mindsets, or mistakes to avoid? What would you recommend in terms of building the future with confidence?
I mean, it's interesting that there's just a plethora of data coming in, right? Every single time you look at the news or anything, there's so much. So how do you fine tune for your interests? And I think it's always how do you augment your interests, right? Whether it's music, whether it's art or anything. For me, I find it fascinating is that when I'm trying to learn about something new, right? Whether it's ChatGPT or something, I always ask it, hey, what else should I be asking?
Oh, wow.
So the follow-up, it's not just like, oh, just do this, do this, do this. I ask it because it knows about what I'm, the subject matter. I say, hey, anything else I should be asking that I'm not? And then it generates like 20 questions, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, it just like spark. Like, yes, I want to learn about this. I want to know, because usually it's like writer's block, right?
Yeah.
If you get stuck because there's no ideas. But this is the power of AI, because it can actually generate those ideas and give you insights into things that you might not know. And I think that's really the power of learning these days. The other thing I would say is that, the way that I sort of go about it and not get overwhelmed is that I actually use AI agents to basically go into the world, figure out what is interesting for me, and give me just a cheat sheet. Every morning, I open up my phone. Oh, here's 10 things that I missed.
Yeah.
And then I find the ones that I want to look into more and go from there.
When you say you're creating this quick cheat sheet, it's updates about new emergence of technology,
right.
functions, apps, companies.
Could be anything.
Shifts in the news.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, essentially, and now you can actually have it read to you, right? So maybe on your morning jog, which I got to start doing again, but you can just listen to it.
Right.
You can say, hey,
100%.
it's like Jarvis again.
Right.
It's like, hello there. Today, this is what you missed, and boom, boom, boom. Would you like me to dig into any? Yes, I want to learn more about this. What happened?
Sure. Yeah.
Right. It's your personal assistant.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it's a superpower.
Wow. Yeah, that's a whole topic I'd love to dig in on itself. We've been thinking about how much of our process as a music company we can automate and kind of push to AI assistance versus training people who are not really focused or even educated in the space that we're working in. Right. For example, one of the things we're looking at is automating how we approach project funding. And that is a huge question for me. I wonder how we would compare the progress to know if we're going in the right direction.
Right. I'll use sort of my industry as an example.
Yeah.
Is that previously, right? Let's say if you construct a house, usually they have a plan, they have these CAD files or schematics or whatever.
Sure.
And then of course they have to price out the materials. And of course the contractor who comes in to build it.
Right.
And of course the contractors get paid as the milestones get met. And then of course finally delivery, yada yada, and all sorts of you gotta make sure the government approves it. But when you look at that, at the end of the day, it's about sort of not just the process, but the costing. Is it actually on time? Right. Is it actually under budget or on budget? So at least from my industry, is that I see where if we can actually see every single day, understand the data that is being generated. For example, the carbon emissions for this type of material is a lot less than that. Right? You can save later because of ESG or whatever.
Sure.
It's about data at the end of the day. And if they can track it more in real time, or at least very quickly and efficiently, then you'll know exactly where you should pivot or sort of position.
100%.
And I think understanding of data, because data is absolute. Right. And if you know exactly the progress of, let's say, your house or your project or whatever, every single day, right, using graphs or using AI to actually help you explain how it's going, then you can make decisions much faster.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. That brings up two ideas. One is that you've got to do a one-to-one comparison. What are you able to accomplish with the team and the bandwidth that you have at the moment? And is the saying true that you wouldn't be replaced by AI, but you may be replaced by a person? You might more likely will be replaced by a person that uses AI.
Yeah.
Right. And so maybe the golden combination is that convergence of somebody that really is able to either architect or use your own customized systems for whatever it is you're trying to build in your business.
Right.
Yeah. You've mentioned this now twice. I love the quote, I don't know if it's yours, that data is the new oil. That's a very powerful one. The first time I've heard it. If that is the case, what is the highest refined version of data, or what is the most valuable set of data?
I would say how it actually benefits your daily lives and operations. An example, so we're actually managing the temperature, humidity every single couple seconds of the Singapore Flyer, which is the Ferris wheel in Singapore, right? Nobody really thinks about it, but if you think about it, for any type of building, that is the most mechanically advanced building in Singapore. Because it has to move and rotate and all sorts of other things 24/7.
Wow.
It has to.
Yeah.
So what's great is that we had a partner start installing all of these sensors on every single electric part, and then it's streamed onto our platform. And now our platform can actually give the operators access to say, you know what, if it goes above a certain threshold in real time, that's when you get pinged. Versus previously, they were going up to these places, measuring it every 30 minutes physically.
Yeah.
And of course, human beings can make mistakes.
Sure.
And this is where if data is essentially in real time reflected back onto the system, you can make decisions a lot faster. And now that it's on the platform, you can also alert the authorities if something happens faster.
Yeah.
And I think this goes back into emergency response.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
When you think about recently in Hong Kong, all the typhoons, right? You look at Taiwan as well.
Right.
I mean, you look at anywhere, the natural disasters.
Right.
If there was a better way to not only simulate and understand that, hey, this is going to hit this part specifically, and here's the potential aftermath, you can not only make decisions faster, but at the same time, when it actually comes and actually generates the data to match it to the simulation, and then it'll know exactly who to call and spatially which department or which fire department or a fire station is easier to access. That's how you save lives.
Absolutely, yeah. That's also a double-edged sword, right? In terms of privacy and control, and that's a tough one. And I have a quick clip that I want to show you later about that. But before we go into that,
Brace myself.
yeah. Brace yourself a bit here. Right now, actually, no. Now could be a good time actually for that clip and a few others. We have a lightning round inspired by our friends over at Hot Ones that we wanted to ask you about. So,
do we get wings too?
yeah, exactly. Or we can just drink some sriracha.
Oh, yeah.
So these are all quick answers. Shoot from the hip.
Okay.
No wrong answer, but they're generally just lightning round responses here. When you came in here, you said, all right, do you have AC? And we're like, check. And you said, do you have coffee? Check. What hardware or software can't you live without today?
Oh, I would say my phone right now.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot live without it. It's the first thing I see. Sorry, wife. First thing I look at when I wake up, and the last thing I look at when I go to sleep.
That is a hard ritual to break. Yeah. That's a big topic in our home as well.
Yeah.
What's your go-to brain reset habit or ritual?
Music. Right.
Awesome.
It gets me back. Like I said, it's all about the emotions.
Yeah. What was the biggest aha moment working with gaming giants, building games for hundreds of millions of users?
That building games can make you a rock star, just like the Diablo creators.
Yeah.
People sitting behind a desk programming and making artwork for the game. I mean, and then it becomes esports. I mean, that blew my mind. Oh, I was on stage with Bill Roper and in South Korea when we launched Hellgate London. Yeah. And it was massive. Yes. Like I think it was 10,000 people in the stadium.
Oh yeah.
And then the K-pop star, Girl Generation back then. Yeah. I shook their hands. They were like 13 or 15. And I was like, wow. I can't believe I'm on stage with the most famous K-pop band. Oh yeah. At the time.
For sure. Yeah, I went to the League of Legends World Championships, and it was the entire Chase Arena in San Francisco was filled to the rafters. And like, not only was it one of the best, if not the single best production I've ever seen in terms of like, spare no expense on the lights, the sound design, the sound systems, the animations, the projections of where they put stages in the center of the room with LEDs facing the ceiling for the people in the rafters to see, and
what a great
big screens. But it was also one of the most emotional for a lot of the people I saw. Like, so they brought in Jackson Wang, they brought in Lil Nas X, and these guys are playing. But then to see these kind of digital OGs come in
Yeah.
and play, 10 years in a row. You guys like Faker, right? Who are like these legends in these video game circles. It's they're basically like video game nerd Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? They
They're the
were
new rock
crying
stars.
when these guys are winning and and just cursing to the to the high heavens when they're
Right.
losing, and I'd never seen anything like it. And this is the world we're living with. It's like you're either going with the flow or you're sitting back in the muddy waters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
Absolutely. If you could partner with any other living tech visionary right now, who would it be and why?
I would say Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's doing something for humanity that nobody else on this earth can do. Right. He's trying to bring us to Mars.
Yeah.
But even before that, right, he single-handedly, I wouldn't say single-handedly, but at least being the CEO of multiple companies, changing from gas automotives to electric, and changing the whole landscape. That's like a Rockefeller.
Right.
So this is somebody that I would love to pick his brain and see how to collaborate, because as we're building what I like to call the digital utility, the upcoming new digital utility for airports, for ports, for critical infrastructure, for countries, I would love to partner with him and see how we can scale this together.
Awesome. If you're out there, Elon, chime in and let us know.
Let's work together.
Let's work. What's the tech gadget you swear by that most people ignore?
I would say my AirPods,
Oh.
because I realized that it allows me to sort of make the world disappear. Right. You turn on active noise cancellation, and even coming here, right? I just needed a little bit of time. Just so much noise in the world.
100%.
It allows me to sort of almost meditate and get back to my thoughts.
Yeah.
And it has changed my life because I carry it everywhere now. When I don't have it, I'm like, I miss it.
Yeah.
Right. And this is not just a phone or anything. This is something that also allows me to experience my music.
Right.
In a much more better way, right? Where the rest of the world
way,
disappears and I can just focus on the music.
Yeah. I can relate to that. Sometimes I just turn on the noise canceling and sit as though I'm in earplugs.
Yes.
I did on the
Yes, that's
airplane
it.
on the way over here.
Yeah. You don't have to listen to anything.
Just listening to silence, yeah.
It's the best.
Cutting out a little bit of that extra
Right.
distraction and noise, yeah, for sure. 100%. What is your biggest upgrade me moment in your own personal life that's not on your resume?
I've been trying to get back into working out more, upgrading health, right? Because sure, we're always behind these devices all day and you don't really, focus on your own body, right? But at the same time, I also use digital devices to understand my body better, get the data, right? To know, same with Apple Watches, they'll tell me when I need to get up, right? Because I've been sitting too long, or it knows if there's a change in heartbeat, resting heartbeat. And these are the cues that alerts me to say, hey, something is up. You should just try to improve your way of life.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that is a major upgrade for me on a personal level.
Awesome. So we've got a couple of clips from online and that are a part of our lightning round as well. It's just we'll show you and have you shoot from the hip on these as well.
Sure.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the future of law enforcement.
It's a Robocop. Oh,
Ed 209.
oh, boy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there.
It's coming.
It's, I mean, was I in Shanghai, we were working on augmented reality glasses for police so that as they're actually walking through crowds, it can identify the people that they were targeting.
Right.
I mean, this is the next generation, right? Where you completely, like I said, the robots sort of become that force. Very scary.
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, right, there needs to be checks and balances on how far these robots can take it.
Exactly. A kill switch.
Yes, absolutely.
We need that.
Yeah.
A whole
Ah. Oh, I love this.
People come to the Oasis for all the things they can do.
Yeah, this is we're living in it now. I mean, all of my kids, Minecraft worlds, Roblox, and of course Fortnite is massive, and concerts and musicians that have appeared inside of Fortnite, right, and bigger than life, right? They can be as large as they want. They can go underwater. I mean, this is exactly the video game metaverse as we speak, and people can choose to go in or not.
Right.
Yeah, Minority Report. Oh yeah, this is the thing. I mean, you have these precogs, right, that can predict the future. It's the same thing with data, is that if there's all this data and of course the simulations, and then they can actually capture criminals before they actually do the crime, that's scary.
Yeah.
Right, for sure. And I think this is something where it's sort of dystopian. Right? I don't see this happening anytime soon. I hope not.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if the data in real time can sort of make emergency response or police response quicker, it can save lives as well.
Right. Wow. I mean, it could also derail if it's trying to judge the purity of your thoughts.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I mean, that's essentially what's happening now in AI judges.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because it knows the world's knowledge, knows all of the cases.
Right.
When people rely 100% right now on the AI, which is still maturing, and if it actually says you go to jail and you don't go to jail, wow.
Right.
Right? So we need to step by step get there. We're not there yet.
Right. You know about this guy.
What if your next child wasn't?
Oh my God. I mean, it'd be a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yep.
That is really scary because, my wife and I always talk about this. It's like, this
Robotic womb.
It's shocking, right, at the end of the day, because we as human beings, we want to be with humans and sort of have the whole biology. But then you see something like this, if it's coming soon, it'll be a lot more affordable for people who cannot afford a surrogate mother. And I think that would actually be good. But at the same time, I mean, this is why I paused. I'm hesitating because this is scary to me.
To live with that.
Live with that.
Wake up next to
I'd rather just, instead of
jiffy womb.
instead of like a humanoid robot, just put it in something else that can incubate the baby or something, right?
Yeah.
Versus a humanoid. That's a little unsettling.
It is. Yeah. Wow. Eric Liu, it's been a pleasure as always. I love your enthusiasm and your outlook on life and your attitude. We need more, tech folks that are, high on IQ and EQ. And I look forward to all the things that you're doing and that you're about to do. Thank you so much for being here with us. What are you looking forward to, and where can people follow your journey?
Yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. And right now I'm in Singapore, but I do travel quite a bit.
Yep.
But I would say, look into 2026 next year, because there's going to be a lot of announcements going on from Southeast Asia and beyond. So excited for that and looking forward to partnering as well.
All right. Digital twin it up.
Yes.
Let's go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.